Hey Booktube, so I'm here to do another tag today. This particular one is called the Booktuber First and Last. It was created by Kimberly from Kimberly's Book Nook. I was not tagged by her or anybody else who has done this video. I just decided to go ahead and try it because it looked like a lot of fun. There are 10 questions and I've gotten them all written down here, so let's get started. The first question is, what was the first video you posted and what was the last video you posted? The first video I posted was my channel introduction, and I recorded it off my phone, and I had it angled long ways, and so never learned how to fix it or never tried to. And the last video I posted was a Friday Reads video. Question 2. Who was the first booktuber you watched? Who was the last booktuber you watched? And what were their videos? The first booktuber I ever watched, and I still remember, is Chapter Chicks. And I want to say it was a haul, because usually I like watching mostly hauls. The last video I watched was, booktuber I watched was Bunny Cates, and I watched her Friday Reads for this week, which was actually hosted by Starion72. I don't know whether I should technically be saying the last booktuber I watched was Bunny Cates or Starion72. Technically, it's both. Question 3. What is the first book you remember buying? What is the last book you remember buying? The first book I remember buying, I don't physically have it on me, and I don't know whether I could say that I purchased it because it wasn't with my money, but I was given the money by my parents to buy it, so technically I paid for it. When I was younger, my stepdad said, pick a book series that you want to start reading and I'll give you the money and you can, whenever we go to the bookstore, you can start collecting that book series. And I can't remember who the author is, but it is the Boxcar Children book series. The last book I ever bought was actually just today. It is the duology Eon and Iona. I just purchased these maybe like an hour ago. Number 4. What is the first novel you read, and what is the last novel you read? The first novel I read, once again, I believe it also was the Boxcar Children books. And the last novel I read, Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Question number 5. What is the first dystopian you read, and what is the last dystopian you read? I believe this is dystopian. In middle school, I had to read this for one of my classes, and that is The Giver by Lois Lowry. Now, I don't remember anything that happened in this book because I try not to remember anything I'm forced to read, and since I was forced to read this, I don't remember what happened. But I do believe this is a dystopian. The last dystopian I read, I want to say it's this one, but who knows. Wither by Lauren DeStefano. Question number 6 is, what is the first paranormal romance you read and what is the last paranormal romance you read? Well, I was trying to think of another one just because I'm sure everyone's going to say this one, and I didn't want the same answers as everybody, but it is true, this one was my very first paranormal romance, and come on, do you really need to guess? Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. The last paranormal romance I read was also the last book I read, so I've already shown you, and that is Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Number 7. What is the first book that made you cry, and what is the last book that made you cry? There's not too many books that have physically brought me to tears. A lot of people cried for The Fault in Our Stars, and I didn't. I mean, it was sad. I was sad for it, but no, I didn't. The very first book that ever made me cry, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Sirius died. I was bawling. Sirius is one of my favorite characters in this book, so. And there hasn't really been any book that's made me cry since then, like any time recently. So the last book that made me cry was actually Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I thought the 5th book was sad. My gosh. How many characters die in this one? What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 characters, main characters die in this. Anybody else think that Snape's death was really more harsh in the movie than it was in the book? Like, when Snape's death scene came up, it's like the snake just snaps at him so much and he's like slamming into the back of that building and just blood going everywhere, and I was like, oh, it just didn't seem that cruel to me in the book. But yeah, this book, every time Every time, no matter how many times I read this, this book makes me cry. Number 8. What was the first entire series you read, and what is the last entire series you read? First entire series I read. Come on. The last series, I had trouble remembering the last entire series I read because I am weird when it comes to reading. I'm in the middle of like 15 series and I haven't finished any of them, even though some of the series have all of the books out already. I want to say it was either the Hunger Games trilogy or the Uglies series, which I don't know if I can count this one or not because I haven't read Extras, but Extras is not even related to this series as far as like the characters in this one. So I mean, does that count? If that doesn't count, then this really was the last one that I read. If not, then yeah, it was Hunger Games, so I can't tell. And question number 9. What was the first book you couldn't push yourself to read, and what was the last book you couldn't push yourself to read? Boy, do I know the answers to these. Yeah. The first book I couldn't push myself to read was Jessica's Guide to Dating on the Dark Side by Beth Fantasky. I don't know what it is about this girl's writing. I can't get through it. I try to like push through most of it to see if maybe it'll be good later. I'm actually in the middle of reading a book that is just like that. It was not good in the beginning and then the ending turned out really, really good. So I try and push through so that maybe I can get to the part where it does start getting good, but that one, I don't know what it was. I couldn't do it. And the last one I couldn't push myself to reading is Entwined by Heather Dixon. This was a book I tried to read last year and I don't remember hating it. I just remember it boring me. This is where I left off. It's like a good third into the book. And question number 10 is who is the first person I will tag and who is the last person I will tag. And since I wasn't tagged for this, I'm not going to tag anybody in particular. I'm just going to say that I tag you, viewers, you. Go ahead, do this tag. It was really fun and I really enjoyed doing it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the tag as much as I enjoyed doing the tag. If you guys have anything to say about any of the books that I've mentioned, go ahead and leave comments down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.